History is often written in the ink of progress, but the blueprint for our modern health was forged in the fires of a global catastrophe. 1918, a world at war. But while armies clashed on the front lines, a silent enemy was infiltrating the ranks. The influenza virus didn't just kill, it shattered the fragile illusions of early 20th century medicine. Back then, hospitals weren't hubs of science. They were warehouses for the dying, palliative holding centers for the poor. Knowledge was fractured. There were no standardized protocols, no centralized map of the enemy's movement. As the pandemic accelerated, this archaic system collapsed under the weight of millions. It was chaos that demanded a revolution. World War I was the catalyst. It turned military camps into epicenters, fueling a wildfire that medicine could not quench. In cramped barracks and transport ships, the virus found its perfect laboratory. The mobilization of men became the mobilization of death. The first response was silence, denial. Local leaders focused on keeping morale high, while the bodies were piled low. But you couldn't hide the truth when the victims weren't the old or the weak, but the young, the healthy, and the strong. The belief that modern medicine had conquered contagion was shattered in a matter of months. A new era had to begin. Out of this despair came the realization that we were fighting blind. To survive, we needed data. We needed a map. Localized failures proved that viral threats respect no borders. We needed national centralized surveillance. The standardization of diagnostic data wasn't just bureaucracy. It was the invention of a new language for survival. Mandatory disease reporting became the law. For the first time, epidemiological data was integrated into daily clinical practice. Hospitals were no longer just places to wait for the end. They were becoming the front lines of preventative science. The role of the nurse evolved. They weren't just caretakers anymore. They were the guardians of infection control. Medical funding shifted aggressively. The priority wasn't just treating the sick. It was finding the vaccine before the next storm. This catastrophe birthed the precursor to global health organizations. It taught us that international data sharing is a necessity. Today's viral threat protocols are direct descendants of the lessons learned in the shadow of 1918. The infrastructure established a century ago continues to evolve. Proactive surveillance remains our primary defense. The shadow of history is long, but it is also a teacher. We remember 1918 so that we may never repeat its silence. In our next segment, we look at the specific cities that changed the world through their bravery and their blunders. Stay with us.